So we'll run it back to the start. As a young child, how did you develop an interest in athletics?
Well, for me, it was kind of the classic sports days, racing people, and loving it, and kind of being one of the fast kids on the playground. Like, loved the race and the hype around sports day. Like, that's really what got me. The excitement really that got me into like wanting to compete. And to be honest, when I was younger, I think it was just being competitive, like having that competitive nature. So whether it was a race or whether it was literally doing something for like DT, I wanted to make the best project, or I wanted to be able to jump the furthest over like a little river or something. So it was always that competitive nature in me. And then just sport was the kind of the vehicle where I could really
kind of the outlet,
exactly, where I was able to do that. And I think it was probably, I was obviously like, good at the sports and them kind of things. My parents, I'm very blessed to be able to like allow me to do like loads of different sports, try different things out. So obviously I always was doing athletics in the summer. And it's just one of them things where gradually progressed, racing in like sports days, and then in like the little county schools competitions, and then like Midlands and stuff like that, and then taking it up to like national level. But from a young age, it was just the competitiveness of like loving to race and loving to have that experience. Really,
I think it's interesting because another kind of guest of this podcast has been a lady called Aoife Mannion, who plays for Manchester City, professional football. She's represented England as well. And when I spoke to her, she said that her journey started pretty much, she said, from the age of 1 year old, she held a football, and that was it for her then. She just fell into football. But for you, it feels like, I think I spoke to you before, it feels like it's been a slightly different journey. You weren't straight into athletics, is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. I think athletics was always there from a young age, probably like from the age of 5 when I was at school. But it was like athletics in the summer, but then playing rugby in the winter, doing a bit of karate as well. When I went to college age, it was like I loved my volleyball. Just randomly got into volleyball because I had a teacher who did volleyball. So it was like not straight athletics, boom, 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 all the way. It was like athletics and then do something else. And like, to be honest, for most of my school years, I was playing rugby quite a lot, probably more so than my athletics. And like, I was progressing well with that. But athletics was the sport I always kept coming back to. Like, no matter, every summer, it was always on the track, really. And then throughout the year doing loads of other stuff, really. But it was like always ingrained.
And through them years, have you ever had like a kind of lull? Because I know a lot of like sports people in general that have ambitions, they're doing really well at something, and then things might happen to them and they lose focus and they lose that drive, and they might get distractions, whether that's through people that they're surrounded by or circumstance. Has that ever happened to you in your life, or is it being just constant focus and what you're doing, you're focused on?
Well, I think at a young age, you're just running because you're running, like you just love to race. So it's not really, the motivation doesn't really come into it from like probably the age when I like started at around like doing it a bit more seriously around 12, like part of a club. It was just like a social thing, seeing my friends there, and it was never like a lull. And then it became like a serious decision to progress and to pursue athletics, probably from the age of like 18, probably 18 when I like kind of hit university, and I started to do well. And I think from the age of 18 now to 24, these 6 years has been like up and down. I'd say mainly I've had ups, but every so often it's like you do hit just a time where you're like, I want to progress, or I feel like I'm like kind of plateauing, and you're waiting for the next like kind of step up. So it's not really a lull in terms of my motivation drops. I'm just kind of like waiting for my next step up, because it's hard to continue on a trajectory of like just always progression up. Like, so, and that's like with performance and with motivation. It's kind of like they're both up and down. Like, so some days I've always got the level of motivation. Like, I always want to go to a track and train, or go to the gym and train. Like, there's never really many days I'm like in bed thinking, oh man, I just want to stay in bed. I genuinely love it.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to ask you about, because, you know, a lot of people, myself included, when that alarm clock goes off at 8 o'clock, and you've told yourself the night before, that you are going to get up when that alarm goes off, and then you allow yourself to make up excuses. I'll give myself another 20 minutes up.
Yeah.
Do you have that complete dedication where you'll just get up and go at it?
It comes in waves. I'll be honest. There's some seasons where I'm like, when I say season, I mean like just like kind of times in my life where I'm like on it. Like recently, I'm doing like 6 a.m. starts.
Yeah.
Up.
I was at 8 o'clock. Like.
Yeah, no, literally 6 o'clock, and it's weird because it's winter now, but I'm up at like I can be up at 6, do a bit of work, and then like be hitting the gym at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then there's some times and blocks in the season where my body is just like, no, you need to stay and rest. And I think being an athlete, you do listen to your body. And there are some times where I'm like, no, actually, I really need my rest. Like,
it applies to like their daily life. So like, you can have a nagging little worry when you wake up, or whatever you're doing in your day, you can have this little worry that can become something much bigger in your head. And it can kind of take over, and that's how a lot of mental health issues like occur, when you're not it's not really reality, but it's like just kind of just thoughts in your head that become more than what it actually is.
Exactly.
So as an athlete, do you have to control them thoughts? Like, do you put much effort into like your mental state? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I personally think mental state is actually key to performance, because realistically, a lot of athletes are doing pretty much the same stuff. We're running on the track, we're lifting in the gym, and like there's a couple of seconds maybe here and there, a couple of tenths of seconds here and there, and then it just comes down to your mental state and like who's got the competitiveness, who's got the motivation, the mental edge. And like you can see it sometimes just in sessions, like when we turn up as a group, and you can see people who are up for it and people aren't up for it, and that's just in a training session where we're not racing for medals, we're not doing anything, it's just literally to get us better. But if you're not motivated and you're not like wanting to hit it, it could be like 2 seconds difference, because from even personally from 1 week to the next, I could be up for a session and think, yes, let's go, and I can run like a second quicker on each rep. So it is mental state, and it's literally like your attitude towards it, how you like approach a challenge, like whether it be like you say, like in everyday life or in athletics environment. If you approach a challenge with a negative mindset of this could go wrong, or I'm worried about this could happen, or you could see it as, actually, you know what, this could happen and a good thing could come out of it, and I could get a promotion, because I could go into every race thinking I could get injured and that could be my career over, and that is a possibility. Or I could go into every race and thinking this is a race to run a PB, this is a race to run fast time. So it's mental attitude towards your like kind of challenges in front of you, really.
And you spoke before about how you started off in athletics, how it was just like about being the best in what you do, like that kind of thing. Do you think if you didn't actually progress? So say if you were maybe had an unfortunate injury or things didn't go your way in your early career, or maybe you just didn't, there was some twist of fate and you didn't find athletics. Do you think you could have been a different person altogether? Because it seems like you get a buzz and a thrill and even a high off that race. So you know, like a drug addict gets a high off drugs. Do you think there's a possibility in another world you could have been that guy? And
just looking for the high, like
you look for the high in your competition, like
like, to be honest, I feel like I do have, I don't know, I do what some have, like a bit of a, like an OCD addictive. You can actually like just maintain your speed rather than having a drop off because your stride length is going long and slow. So when you're running, your arms are directly kind of linked to your legs. So if you really quickly move your arms, your legs will move quickly. And it's the same if you're walking down the street, you can't quickly move your arms and walk slow, and you can't run fast and move your arms slow. You should try it. It's really weird.
Because that's interesting. So you're saying you can't quickly move your arms and walk slow.
If you naturally do that, if you're walking along and you start to pick your arm and move your arms like you're running, you naturally or if you were like doing a sprint and try to move your arms in slow motion, you wouldn't be able to. It would slow you down. So they are linked like neurologically. So coming into the last 100 meters of the 400, Tony's really like kind of get your arms just short and powering. The 400, Tony's really like kind of get your arms just short and powering, because that's going to take your legs over quicker. And today it was a really good session because he's just giving me cues and just like reminders of, okay, try this in this run, do this, and you can see it actually working. And it's just little technical things that he can see that you don't really have the time to see with yourself, because obviously you're there running, you're just thinking about running. You don't want to be thinking, oh, move my arms, or sometimes you can, but naturally you want to almost be in a subconscious state when you're running. So you're not thinking, okay, arms. You just maybe like a
muscle memory.
Muscle memory. Literally, it's just like when you get to this point in the race, you know you need to turn your arms up. When you get to this point in the race, lift your hips or whatever. So it's like it becomes subconscious, and Tony's just there to like kind of reinforce that, really, to get you to the place where it becomes muscle memory and just becomes subconscious.
And what kind of relationship do you have with him? Because obviously he's a person, like as your trainer, he's really important to you as an athlete. Do you have a good personal relationship with him as well? Like,
really good relationship. Like probably one of the best relationships I've had with a coach. Like he's got the great balance between coach, mentor, and like friend as well. So it's like, he's really like perfected. I think he knows that athletes are different, and it's not one shoe fits all. Where some coaches are like hard, stern, we're going to do this, and it doesn't work for every athlete. And some coaches are softly trying to be your friend, and then it doesn't work. But Tony's really good at, I think, seeing an athlete and acknowledging one, physiologically they're not all the same. So for example, someone like me who's more of a speed runner, a session where I'm getting short recovery, it's just going to tap me out and not really be as beneficial to somebody who is more of an endurance-based 400 meter runner. So he can tailor sessions like that and think, you still get the same amount of work, but we're just playing to Elliot's strength, or we're playing to this person's strengths, as well as like emotionally, we're not all the same. So it's like,
you definitely, 100%. And I think going just back to football as well, I think Alex Ferguson was one of the best man managers in the game. I read a thing about, I don't know if you know, but Sarri, he managed Chelsea not long ago. He insisted on everyone training at 3:00 in the afternoon because he'd heard from an Italian scholar that was the best time for the body to train. And there was no kind of on his part, there was no kind of moving on that point. That's it, boys. That's what I think. And there's no interaction. So I think as a coach, the best way to go is to have that kind of interaction, isn't it? And deal with people one-on-one.
Yeah. I think it's really good as well, especially in an individual sport like athletics. You need to kind of almost cater for individual athletes. But I guess, in a team sport, it's harder because you need everybody playing from the same book, if you will. But it's like, Tony's really good at just kind of hearing people out. And he will say, he will say to us sometimes if he doesn't want us to run something because he's worried that we might push it too hard or get injured, he will say to us, no, sit this one out. You've done a good so far. I don't want to push it over the edge.
Yeah.
And he will put his foot down and say, look, I've got the experience here. I'm telling you from experience, you don't need to run. Even if we want to be like, don't worry, I can do it. He will tell us so when we need to, as well as at the same time, if we're not performing as well, he'll say, no, you need to pick this up. Come on, let's go.
There was one thing I would like to ask you about as well. I don't know if you're aware of Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn, the boxing promoters.
Yeah, I'm aware of Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, well, his father, Barry Hearn, formed Matchroom Promotion.
Okay, yeah.
And it was just a thought that crossed my mind earlier on when I was thinking about like the scene of athletics, people like yourself, and what you produce in performance, in a spectacle when you're watching it. It's very exciting. There must be a lot of different personalities involved as well. Like speaking to you, you can see that you've got personality. But if I was watching on TV and seeing you on the starting line, I wouldn't know anything about this. Like I wouldn't know any of this about you. Do you think there's an issue in athletics with promotion? Because Barry Hearn started his promotion through with darts, which before he did that with darts, it was literally a pub game. So it was just guys that played it in the pub.
Yeah.
He brought it to a level through promotion where it became like a global sport. And I feel like that there's massive personalities in athletics. There's some massive stars. You've seen it with Mo Farah, Usain Bolt. But do you think there's room for better promotion in athletics to bring more money in, to make more stars out of the sport?
You know what? Yes, 100%. There needs to be someone like an Eddie Hearn in athletics to bring that through. And that's the only way it happened because, there are some people in athletics who probably do have a bit of a bit playing personality.
Yeah.
But most athletes are a bit, especially like sprinters, I'll say, are a bit narcissistic in terms of they'll think about themselves and
promotion. They could be looking in the camera and being like, "I'm gonna win."
Yeah, that's it. And literally, and it's like it only became a thing really on a global stage when Usain Bolt was kind of be the joker, really.
Yeah, and that's it himself through his person. There was no promoter promoting him. He just created his own personal. It's just a one-off, isn't he? But
it was one-off. But before that, everybody was looking into the camera dead straight because that's what they thought you had to do. No emotion. I'm here and focus race.
All behind him and that.
Yeah, literally, and he was just chilled. And then other people started adopting that of a bit of a jokey and different styles. But there's a lot of different personalities in athletics, which is quite interesting. But like you say, when you just get a lineup of the face and it literally says their name, maybe their age, and the club they run for, badge, you don't really get you can't talk, and you might get a post-race interview of them, kind of breathing heavy and just telling them how they got there. But it's not really. I think that they are starting to try to do more to promote athletes and get people to understand athletes, but there's nothing on the same level as any other sport really, where you can actually get to know athletes and know their story and so he beat this person in this race, but now he's racing here. This is how he's been performing. It could get very interesting. If there was backing, but
I definitely think there is.
Yeah, that's one thing that I think that as a sport, really. It's got the characters and it's got the people there, but as a sport, it needs to develop with the times, really, because it's like, athletics is one of the oldest sport, if not the oldest sport, like in existence. So it's like, how do you modernize something that they were doing in like 200 BC, where they were just running around a track and it's just running, and do you make that entertaining to people who have 30-second attention spans? And it's like, if they're not flashing and that, it's like, okay, this is a 5K race and it goes on for what, like 14 minutes. I don't want to sit 14 minutes and watch them just run laps and them change position a couple of times. That's why people obviously like the sprints. But
you say that, but then if you watch a boxing match, a lot of the time it can be back and forth, and you're watching it and not much is happening, and
exactly.
Knockout, and it's like the finish line is the knockout.
Exactly.
If you know the stories of them guys that are running,
and
it'd make it a lot more like kind of
that's it.
aging, like.
Yeah, that's it. That's true. And that's why people, like, when it comes to boxing, like, people watch the AJ fight and it's like exciting because these guys are heavyweights. These are pounding each other and they're like, you're expecting a knockout, and that's what people want. Like, the people like want for blood. That's probably why, like, it was gladiatorial. They watched that.
Yeah.
But you don't really watch many, like, kind of lighter weight fights where, you know, they're probably technically going to be good boxers, but there's probably not going to be a knockout. It's going to go to point. So it's like, it's similar to that. But like you say, if you knew the characters and you knew what they'd gone through, and there was a bit of background, I think it would massively help athletes and the sport. And
leading on from that, as you know, thinking about yourself now, so you're aiming for the Tokyo Olympics. Is that correct? So you're going for the... Yeah,
definitely. Like, I think every year, whatever championship or big event is, you have to aim for it, really. You can't... I have realistic targets, and I think, okay, well, maybe, for me, realistically, maybe going as a solo individual athlete for the 400 meters, it might be a bit too soon for me in terms of my development and my experience. But I think with 400 meters in this country in a minute, there's always a chance to... And you've got to believe it's sport. There's always a chance for things to happen. And I do believe that I have the skill set and I have the ability to potentially make relay teams and things like that for this year.
You're only 24.
Yeah. So in terms of 40 meter running, like I've definitely got a good few years to develop in terms of my body. So yeah, definitely.
And as well, if you did get to Olympic level, if you got to the cream, like if you rose to the top, I think we've spoke a little bit about this before, but how would you want to be thought of? Would you want to be someone that has grafted hard because you weren't and naturally you didn't naturally go into athletics, it kind of fell onto you through other ventures? You loved your volleyball, you loved your karate, you went into athletics, you worked hard. Would you want to show some, I mean, you've obviously got a lot of charisma to you as well. How would you want to be portrayed? Would you want to just, how would you want to be portrayed? How would you want to be thought of as, so say if you won gold for Great Britain, what do you want people to say about Elliot Powell?
I would want people to know the work that has been put in, really, in terms of, yes, I had the natural talent, but the natural talent probably only got me so far in terms of ability. I think it had to come down to a lot more than just the talent that the God-given talent that I had. It came down to the work that I had to put in, the faith that I had to have, and then the actual kind of execution. So it's like, I don't want people thinking, oh, okay, this is just like the talented athlete who's just come along and
just like
this is their time.
But genetics.
Yeah, genetics. Yeah.
It's a massive misconception with running. I think people, running in particular. in the world of athletics. I think people just think he's just running. Like a lot of people, everyone can run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone can
Yeah,
run.
yeah.
Not everyone can kick a football or swing a racket properly, but
Yeah.
everyone has the ability to run. People in the morning. So I think where the misconception with the sport of running comes from, and the kind of stupidity towards it. Hopefully, with you talking about the tactics and what goes into it and the detail, that will shed some light on really what goes into the sport. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not just like you were born fast. Okay, you're one of the fast ones. Yeah, you're going to make it to the Olympics. Like, it's like even people like Usain Bolt. Like Usain Bolt could have, I don't know, done something completely different because he just didn't want to. And it comes down to like, you've actually been given that, but without the work that's on top of it, it's just not utilized. So yeah, you're right. It's like it's not just like handed to you.
Yeah, and also I'd like to touch on your faith as well. That's okay with you.
Definitely.
So you're a Christian?
Yeah, definitely. Born again Christian. And I think that is one of the main, if not the main reason I continue and do this, because I feel like for me, purpose is a big thing, and I believe everyone's got a purpose. Whether they're on this earth for a long time or short time, you have a purpose, and people may not know it, they may not realize it.
Where does that so you say you believe people have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Elaborate on that. So a purpose as in a God-given purpose.
Yeah. I think
they've been put here for a reason, for God's purpose.
Yeah. Because I know there's obviously the thing of people think you're born, you go to work, you die, and that's it, and that's fair enough. But I feel like even if that is it, surely you want to achieve or do more, be more than just the normal generic story. Like your purpose could just be to make a change in one person's life. That could be your purpose. Your purpose could be to maybe inspire one child or to speak to one person and affect their life. But I don't think it's a linear story of you're going to work your whole life for maybe a holiday each year, and then that's it, you retire, and then that's it, we're done. Because I see too much greatness in this world to think, that's it. Just because if people didn't have a purpose, like you could just go get a job and enjoy your life, and then that's fair enough. Some people do that, but I believe I was given this talent, this gift to inspire others and like make others believe that they can do more. And
I think this podcast will show that as well from yourself.
Hopefully, that's honestly what my aim. And I think having a faith in something, whether you're kind of religious or spiritual, having a faith and believing that it is more is important just in life, because I think that's why a lot of people are depressed right now and just think, obviously, what with the year we've had, it's like you can't blame a person for thinking, oh, is this it? Like, I've had a year like this, and you can't blame a person for thinking this is it. But having a faith in something has definitely helped me through this year as well, especially because it's like, oh no, this is part of the plan. This is part of the purpose. So it's like, though like it's suffering right now, what we're learning from it, what is it teaching us, or how can we get through this? So definitely it's been very like important this year.
I think with faith as well, obviously it's something that is completely of choice to personal choice, and I don't believe in forcing any kind of spiritual or religious or any kind of idea onto another person.
Yeah.
But you do wonder, like, we don't know. There's no answer. It's not yes.
Yeah.
So I do wonder why people choose to be on the side of just thinking, nah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Even if you're in between, just go for maybe the positive.
Yeah.
Good for your brain. Like, I think I
Yeah.
might have said to you before about Tyson Fury against Wilder.
Yeah.
Not found in that 12th round. He was not just unconscious. The guy was. Tyson Fury was on the ground, bang, sparked out. This was after he'd come back after 2 years away from the ring. He went on a completely lost his head. And he said that Christ was his saviour. In his head, he said that's what happened. Like, he knelt down one day, started crying, and Christ apparently was his saviour, and said, and then from that day on, he started training, getting back into boxing. He fought this monster, Deontay Wilder, who'd never lost before.
Yeah.
Boxed him off his feet, and then got knocked out in the 12th round on the floor, sparked out.
Yeah.
Got the count of 10, and on 5, his eyes just opened and he got up.
Yeah, and he just,
that doesn't mean that Jesus Christ exists. It just means that in his brain, he believes it enough to get his body up. Do you know what I mean?
Bring him out of a blackout. Yeah.
So
and that's it.
Yeah.
It's believing that there's, that there's more than just, you're not doing it just through your own strength. Like, that's, I think, what a lot of people have their faith for. I think it's believing that you don't have to do things through your own strength. I think that's one of the things I use it for as well, knowing that it's not just through my strength. But yeah.
And what church do you go to?
So being here, we moved in like when lockdown literally started, so we were doing a lot of like online church and but we've recently now been able to go to church, and we go to one in West Bromwich called Gateway Church. Okay. And it's really like nice church. It's not like a denomination, like I can't say it's Church of England or Catholic. It's just Christian people coming and then worshipping, and like lively like songs and upbeat worship, where you can't help but come out and feeling in a good mood. So yeah, that's it. Really great church, and it gives you like just real like just genuine teachings about life. I think you could strip away all the stuff about the Bible and Jesus, and it's still genuine like good teaching. Like the teaching that we were getting last Sunday was about hope, and about how we should have hope in this year, though, because obviously everything's going on. It talked about having hope for the future, and not knowing that the situation that you're in now isn't going to be your situation for the future.
Right. That's very important right now. So I think a lot of people do lose hope, have lost hope in these times. But hopefully, like hearing you cracking on and not letting that affect you and your story, hopefully if it gets to anyone and they think they feel good from even listening to it, that would be a nice thing.
That'd be really good.
And it's good advice you've been giving. It's just like being around people as well, like going to church, vibes. So I'm sure that happens.
True. Even though we can't meet up as much in person, still like trying to stay connected with people, like just people you care about, just trying to stay connected with them, because that is kind of, I think, what's going to keep a lot of people going, really, staying connected and talking, really.
In terms of now going forward with your career, what's coming up in the next year or so? I believe you're competing at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham.
That's the name, obviously. Selection will be like in 2022, so they select the team each year. That would be a really big thing for me. I think by then, obviously, I would have developed a lot more, and it would be amazing to have like a home crowd there, and the stadium's going up now, and seeing the
my man's actually working on it, you know.
Oh, really? That is so cool. That is so cool.
Oh, yeah. So.
It's looking really good. So I bet it's exciting to be part of that.
And then Tokyo, that's the ultimate aim, get to Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo, and then we'll just say you just take it each year at a time, and Commonwealth Games, and then the year after there's World Champs and there's Europeans. So there's loads of opportunities, and I think, I don't always necessarily think, okay, I have to do this or this is it.
Yeah.
We'll just keep moving forward, and that's all you can ask, really.
Yeah, that's good. And I want everyone to have a little Google search of you, follow your career. Can you watch races back?
Yeah, there's like, I think
I've watched a few, but just for everyone out there, that if anyone's watching, just to get.
Yeah, definitely. I think, there's social media, which is just Elliot Powell, on like Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. And that's where people can kind of keep up to date with, like, I post most of the time, like, what races I'm doing, and links and stuff in.
Elliot Powell, yeah. So on Twitter. And
Instagram. But yeah, I think things like this are great because it just allows athletes to promote themselves more. So, like, I have to thank you for this because it gives us a platform. It's another platform for us.
Honestly, thank you.
It's another platform for us to kind of get out there, because without things like this, it's like, who would know that we exist unless we meet them? And it's like, this is what athletes need. We need a place where people can get to know and think, okay, actually, you know what? Like,
that's where
literally run it back and, like, let's go and see what this guy can do. And then hopefully they watch people and think, wow, actually, this guy's.
I mean, if they watch this, they might look out for you at the, at the Commonwealth Games.
That's it.
They'll look out for you. So that's what we want. Give a shout out as well to your teammates who are coming up soon.
Yes, I think you're going to be speaking to FA and Saddam, who are great athletes, like, in terms of national, international levels. Like,
Saddam's story is mad, isn't it?
Yeah, Saddam is a really good story. Obviously, I'll let him tell his story, but that's another inspiring one. Someone who literally, like, it's just, he's from Sudan, so he's in another country, and like a few years ago, I moved to Bath, like, to pursue athletics and pursue a coach, but to move to a different country and, like, pursue it, and, like, the challenges he's faced, and, like, kind of really push for a really, really good story. And FA is somebody who I was speaking to Tony about last week, who I think went to Tony, I think maybe 8 years ago or 10 years ago, and, like, as a 48-second runner, and now he's running, like, low 46s. So it's like taking off 2 seconds just by progressing and just maintained at it. So
and he's one guy as well. He's a nice guy. You're all kind of, I can see how you're all gel as well, speaking.
We do. We've got really good vibe in the group. It's really good. Like, everybody's very motivated at the track in terms of, we know what it's about. But at the same time, like, we could still go and get food together and just chill. Like, it's really good. Really good.
Like the three of you. So it's going to be interesting to speak to them too as well. But in terms of yourself, like, it's just really admirable what you've done so far with your life. The ambition that you've shown, dedication. I love your faith as well. I think you're a really, like, pure man. You know what I mean? Through and through. And I wish all the best for you as well. I'm going to be obviously still in contact with you. So
definitely.
And then obviously in the Commonwealth Games, I'd love to come and see you race as well.
That'd be awesome. Imagine that. Imagine seeing the progression to that. That'd be awesome.
I'll be cheering you on the in the stands. That'd be amazing.
Nice one.
Sound, Elliot. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Back.
Guest on here. Thank you so much. It's been brilliant to talk to you. And I'll be speaking to you soon.
Awesome.
Pleasure. Cheers, Elliot.
Nice one. Cheers. Thank you.
Nice one. See you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.